Now we're going to grab our pinking shears and go around the edges of the pincushion so that they have nice, clean, finished edges. This will help keep it from fraying. Take it nice and slow. The whole way around. Okay. All right. So for making our stuffing for our pincushion, we're going to use t-shirt scraps. And the way we're going to do this is just take different chunks of t-shirt, make a cut, and rip it. Okay? And you'll do that until we have enough that it's going to make our pincushion full. All right. Again, as you are finishing your pincushion or ripping up your t-shirts, you could start stuffing your pincushion. When you're doing this, make sure that you're getting all the way to the corners. And the best way to do that is to take something like a pencil eraser and push it down into the corners so that it's more square. Now that I have my pincushion nice and stuffed, I'm going to take my pins to pin this closed. And then I am going to line up my pincushion with, or my thread and my needle up with the spot where I left off stitching. I'm going to stitch right over top where I already did my back stitch from last time. And I'm going to go forward, 1, 2, 3, using my hand wheel. I'm going to take my first pin out, and then I'm going to hold down the reverse button, and we're going to reverse it again, a couple stitches, and then we're going to go forward, doing our best to have it line up with the stitching at the other end. And again, you can use your hand wheel to make sure you're right on top. You'll hit your reverse button, go back a couple stitches, and then forward, and you're finished with the machine. Then on to our buttons. Alright, for the next step, you are going to be sewing 2 buttons on to your pincushion. I've got a bunch of different sizes and hole number here. So I have them grouped together based upon how many holes they have and their size. All that I want for this is the buttons to be the same size and have the same number of holes. So I want to use buttons that are about this size, and I want them, for mine, I want to have 4 holes. I could choose any 2 from this section right here, but I've decided that I want to use these 2 right here. Alright, so I have my needle threaded, with my knot at the end. And remember, because we're doing buttonholes or buttons, we've got double thread here. So to begin this, we're going to go onto the back side. So for me, that is this solid side. And I'm going to stick my needle in, straight in, and figure out if that is where I want my button to be. And I think that that is where I want it. Okay, so we'll go in, one button, hold down, just below it, top right to bottom right. You'll push it through. Now comes the tricky part. Because I want you to have buttons on both sides, you're going to have to repeat this super carefully. When you pull it through, the button through, you're going to pull it tight through its top right buttonhole. Then go to the bottom right buttonhole. And if you go straight through, you should end up back at your top right buttonhole on the other side. This is going to take some time, so you're going to have to be patient with yourself and with me so that we get this right. At this point, I have 3 stitches that have been done on this side. Now, on whichever side it's going to be, your back is going to be the only place where 3 lines are going to be going across your button. So on this button, on this side is where that is going to happen. And some of you are probably wondering why we are doing it this way, why we are doing buttons on both sides. The reason is, on thicker jackets, most of them are going to have buttons on both sides. And because of that, I wanted you to have practice going through one buttonhole, through some fabric, and then through another buttonhole. For example, the ROTC jackets have buttons on both sides, if they haven't fallen off. I fixed one of them last year and had to find a new back button for one of the students that had lost their button. Okay? At this point, I've gone through 3 times on each side. So unlike the other button that we have done before, you aren't going to do a whole lot with this. You're just going to stick the thread or the needle. So now that we have gone through each side 3 times, to end it, we are literally just going to cut it off. At this point, the thread should be strong enough and gone through enough in each spot that it's going to hold. Okay? And that's it. You're done with your pincushion.